Hello everybody and welcome to another Beer Reviews. Before we get started tonight, I just want to do a little shout out to the Bad Seed Brewery guys from Malton. Met them on Friday at Brass Castle. Really enjoyed the company. Two very handsome and lovely young chaps. Had a great conversation with them about beer and about brewing. Check them out. I've tried their saison. If you follow me on Twitter, you might see the review from that, just a little tweet review, which I found absolutely stonking. And I've also tried their IPA, which is a 7.something% one. And you know what I like. I like my strong IPAs. Really great guys, really enthusiastic. It's so nice to see and meet people who have the same ideas about beer that you do. So yeah, go and check them out. Just started up in Malton a few months back, and they're already kind of making waves, really, which is always nice to see. So without further ado, we're talking about nice strong IPAs. So why not go for a nice strong IPA? This is the Kernel's IPA, 7.2, and this one is brewed with Chinook, Riwaka, Ella, Ahtanum and Motueka. Now I do not know anything about Riwaka and Motueka, so I had a quick check up, and I must say Riwaka sounds like my sort of hop. Super ridiculously oily and citrusy to hell. Apparently it just dominates. The oil content in this is just something that just sticks to everywhere in your mouth. So this is probably going to be a very hop forward beer, to say the least. Ella, I've already done. What was it? Hastings. Yeah, it was Hastings Brewery. Had an Australian blonde by them using Ella. Really enjoyed the flavour of it. It had this typical South Pacific sort of flavour to it. A little bit spicy, but citrusy and floral. It had really kind of good all-round quality. So I'm looking forward to this. I tried Kernel before, so you know all about them. Brewing literally under a railway arch in the middle of London. Really are making huge waves in the brewing scene here. I've never tried a bad beer by them, so I highly doubt I'm going to now. Here's my wonderful glass that I got from the Dom that you probably saw in the last review. So let's pour it out. Well, first things first, that is a tiny bit lighter than I am used to in an IPA. In an IPA of this strength at least, it's very kind of like bleached out peachy colour, very pretty as well. There is a fair amount of sediment in it, which is fine because I like my sediment, and I did give it a bit of a swirl, so that's totally fine. And there's a nice, fine, but very well lacing head. Again, the size, you've seen the size of this glass, it's as big as my face. There was never going to be a huge amount of head on it, but it should give a good nose. So let's get our nose in, give it a smell. Oh, you know what I can smell? I can really smell peaches and pineapple. Like a real sweet, juicy, pineapple flavour, kind of without the sour stringency, and peachy note as well, that kind of sweet, soft, fleshy fruit flavours coming through. And it smells juicy as hell. It's one of those IPAs that smells like it's a fruit juice. You can tell that there's been so much late addition hops in this to just kind of boost that flavour profile. And as we all know, part of the taste process and sensation is aroma, and it attributes a lot more than you think it does to the flavour of a beer, so I like to think at least. So without further ado, let's get in there and give it a try. The Kernel's IPA 7.2 with a ton of hops, which, by the way, I'm sure if you looked up in a dictionary, if you looked up the definition of delicious, I think you would find pretty much that description. Indian Pale Ale brewed with that much. So let's give it a try. Cheers. Ooh, oh, that's yummy. That's got a wonderful bitterness to it. One of the first things I noticed when it touched your tongue is a remarkably clean bitterness, but strong at the same time, like almost like one single defining flavour of bitterness or style of bitterness that kind of runs all the way through, right from the second it touches your tongue. There's an almost candy floss kind of sweetness to it as well. Really dominating citrusy flavours, but then kind of tempered with passion fruit and pineapple flavours, and then perhaps a bit of lemon and lime. So it just kind of switches a little bit. Definitely not kind of funky in flavour like you get from Brett or something like that, but I'd say almost Sriracha Ace kind of bubblegum and lemon flavours, but not as extreme as Sriracha Ace, which can definitely polarise people. I see a lot of people don't like the flavour. I personally do. My screen's just turned on. And then there's this really sweet kind of caramelly malt note that kind of blends it all together and holds it down. But actually that bubblegummy flavour is a lot more defined and a lot more present than I thought it was going to be. Well then, I thought there would be in this beer, and I quite enjoy it. It's almost like if you've ever had those little packs, if you're from England, there's little packs of, there's little circle disc, you know, the little violets, packs of violets. Almost kind of get that flavour. There's little, is they called sizzlers or something like that? There's a little kind of pastel sweet thing. And they're really kind of tutti fruity sort of flavour. That's the way to describe it. It's almost like a tutti fruity sort of flavour coming through in this beer. With this really nice, clean, defined bitterness in this. It's a nice kind of, just kind of caramelly sweetness. I think it's really well defined, and I really enjoy that. In terms of other beers by the Kernel, this is an interesting one from what I've tried, because as you probably know if you've seen their stuff, I seem to think I've never really seen a beer of theirs done twice, almost kind of like Partisan, constantly changing up flavours and ingredients. And this one seems quite unique. I've never come across a flavour profile sort of like this, and I like it a lot. I would think that this would go down well with a lot of people, even people who aren't traditionally IPA fiends. There is this bitterness. It's really well tempered with a kind of a sweet hop flavour, and also a sweet malt flavour, pardon me. So I think it's got quite a broad range of appeal. So in terms of rating, I think I'll give this one a nice 8.5 out of 10. It's not the most knockout and outstanding IPA I've ever tried, and at the same time I don't think it's the most knockout beer I've tried by the Kernel either, and I've got a few more of their beers waiting to be reviewed as well, so hopefully when we get around to them we will see a stonker knockout beer by them. But it's definitely extremely pleasant. It's got a unique flavour profile that I apart from perhaps the Sriracha Ace or the Brooklyn Sriracha Ace that I tried, that's probably the closest piece to it, which is unusual because it doesn't have any Sriracha Ace in it. Having said that, I was reading about Motueka, and I think that's the one that's kind of got a lemony flavour, and that probably comes through quite well in this beer. And it's got very nice, clean, defined bitterness. Mouthfeel, I forgot to mention, mouthfeel is very pleasant. It's nice, good medium, nice levels of carbonation. It's not too astringent, and it's definitely not flat. In terms of ABV, even though it's 7.2, it doesn't particularly feel heavy or alcoholic or boozy, which is nice and pleasant. Although probably quite lethal as well. I think this might be quite sessionable. Having said that, especially nice and cold, I think this will go down far too easily. So yeah, nice steady 8.5. Very, very good beer. Very much enjoy it. So, like, favourite, comment, subscribe. Tell me what you think of Kernel, and if you've ever tried this particular India Pale Ale. I'm not sure how many of this one there are out there, whether it's a core one or not. And I'm interested in hearing all your comments. And before I forget as well, a Great British Beer Festival coming up at the end of the week. I shall be there and hopefully meet some other fellow YouTube reviewers. Sofa King Drunk, thank you ever so much for your shout out, by the way. It was very kind of you, and I look forward to meeting you in person. I'm probably going to be far less sober than I am currently. And until next time, cheers.